89% of seniors are taking at least one pill that may be shrinking their brain and triggering dementia, and you might be one of them. Every 66 seconds, another senior is diagnosed with dementia. What if the real cause isn't aging, but sitting in your medicine cabinet right now? The pill you took this morning might be slowly erasing your memories. Here's the truth drug companies don't want you to know. Every pill you swallow after 60 isn't just helping you. Some could be silently stealing your memory, slowing your thinking, and even increasing your dementia risk by nearly 50%. This isn't rare. It's happening to millions of seniors every single day, and most never find out until it's too late. What looks like normal forgetfulness could actually be drug-induced brain decline. Have you walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? Struggled to recall a familiar face? It might not be aging. It could be your medication. Before I reveal the 9 medications that could be shrinking your brain, let's uncover how these pills actually damage memory and why most doctors never warn you. Your brain relies on a key chemical called acetylcholine to form new memories and keep your thinking sharp. Certain medications block this chemical, like turning off the switch that lets your brain store information. When acetylcholine stays blocked for months or years, the memory centers of your brain physically shrink, and that's when dementia risk skyrockets. A major study in neurology and aging research tracked over 73,000 seniors and found that taking these medications increased dementia risk by 49% within just 2 years. This means what you think is normal memory loss could actually be drug-induced brain damage and completely preventable. Now that you know how it happens, let's look at the real-life story of a woman who nearly lost everything because of 4 common prescriptions and how she got her memory back. Margaret, a 73-year-old grandmother from Phoenix, thought she was developing Alzheimer's. She couldn't remember her grandkids' names, forgot appointments, and struggled to follow simple conversations. When we reviewed her medications, we found something shocking. Every pill she was taking blocked acetylcholine, the key chemical her brain needs for memory. Her sleep aid, bladder pill, reflux medication, and antidepressant were slowly shutting down her memory center. Working with her doctor, Margaret carefully reduced or switched these medications to safer options. Within months, she started remembering birthdays, having clear conversations, and feeling like herself again. What her family thought was permanent dementia was actually reversible drug-induced memory loss. Margaret got her life back because someone finally connected the dots. If you or someone you love is experiencing memory problems, this next part is critical. We're about to reveal the 9 medications most strongly linked to dementia, starting with one that's probably in your bathroom right now. Let's start with a pill that's probably in your bathroom cabinet right now. It looks harmless, costs just a few dollars, and claims to help you sleep better. But for seniors, it can be a silent memory killer. I'm talking about diphenhydramine, the active ingredient in Benadryl, Tylenol PM, Advil PM, and many other nighttime or PM medications. Every dose blocks acetylcholine, the key brain chemical your neurons use to form and store memories. Without it, your ability to focus, recall names, or even follow conversations begins to erode. A massive study of over 12,000 seniors published in the Journal of Geriatric Cognitive Health found that long-term users of these medications had a 54% higher risk of dementia. That's more than half again the normal risk. As you age, your brain naturally produces less acetylcholine. Adding a medication that blocks what little you still have is like turning off the lights in a room that's already dim. Many seniors taking PM medications notice brain fog, poor focus, or confusion the next morning, but they rarely connect it back to the pill they took at night. If you see any bottle with PM or nighttime relief on the label, it's a red flag. But this next category might shock you even more. It's prescribed daily for heartburn, yet it starves your brain of the nutrients it desperately needs. The next drug on our list might be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now. Millions take it daily for heartburn relief, but it could be starving your brain of a vital nutrient and slowly erasing your memory. I'm talking about proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, like Prilosec, Nexium, and omeprazole. These are among the most commonly prescribed medications for seniors. They work by suppressing stomach acid. That sounds helpful, but here's the problem. Stomach acid is essential for absorbing vitamin B12. Without it, your brain cells start starving for fuel. A landmark study published in JAMA Neurology followed 73,000 seniors and found that long-term PPI users had a 44% higher risk of dementia. The memory problems look identical to early Alzheimer's, but they're caused by nutrient deficiency. Worse, recent research shows PPIs may also increase amyloid plaque buildup in the brain, the very same toxic protein associated with Alzheimer's disease. If you've been taking PPIs for months or years, talk to your doctor about tapering or switching to safer options like H2 blockers or natural lifestyle strategies. And this next one is even more troubling. It's a bladder control pill prescribed to millions of seniors, and it's one of the most powerful memory blockers known to science. This next drug class is prescribed to millions of seniors, especially women, and most have no idea it could be quietly damaging their memory every single day. I'm talking about bladder control medications like oxybutynin, tolterodin, and solinofacin. These drugs work by blocking ACH receptors, not just in the bladder, but in the brain. And unlike some other medications, they cross the blood-brain barrier easily and powerfully, meaning they directly interfere with memory formation. A major study published in the British Medical Journal found that seniors taking strong anticholinergic bladder drugs for more than 1 year had a 49% higher risk of developing dementia. That's nearly 1 in 2 people on long-term use. The changes are slow and sneaky, a little more forgetfulness, misplacing items, missing appointments, until one day it feels like your brain just isn't working anymore. If you're on a bladder medication, talk to your doctor about safer alternatives like mirabegron, which works without blocking brain chemicals, or pelvic floor therapy that addresses the root problem. And now, let's talk about a medication millions take for heart health, one that might be lowering your cholesterol, but also lowering your brain power. This next one might shock you. It's prescribed to millions of seniors to protect their hearts, but studies show it could be quietly dulling your brain. I'm talking about statin drugs like Lipitor, Zocor, and Crestor, medications designed to lower cholesterol. Here's the problem. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, and cholesterol is critical for protecting nerve cells and allowing them to communicate. When cholesterol is forced too low, memory and mental sharpness often suffer. A study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience followed seniors over 70 taking statins for more than 3 years, and they had a 26% higher risk of developing mild cognitive impairment compared to those not on statins. Some patients even describe terrifying blackout moments, forgetting familiar names, losing track of conversations, or not remembering how they got somewhere. In fact, the FDA now requires a warning label for memory loss on statin medications, but most patients are never told about this risk. If you're on a statin and noticing new memory issues, talk to your doctor. There are ways to balance cholesterol naturally through diet, exercise, and targeted supplements. And if statins surprised you, this next category is even more alarming because it was designed for severe psychiatric illness but is now given to seniors for mild behavior issues with devastating effects on memory. This next category is one of the most dangerous for your brain, and it's still prescribed every day for seniors who just want a good night's sleep or relief from anxiety. I'm talking about benzodiazepines, medications like Xanax, Ativan, Valium, and lorazepam. These drugs are powerful sedatives that calm the nervous system, but they do it by literally slowing down brain activity. Long-term use of benzodiazepines reduces the brain's ability to form new connections, leaving you mentally foggy and emotionally flat. Your brain becomes less flexible and less capable of learning or remembering. A major study published in the British Medical Journal followed 8,000 seniors for 6 years and found that those who used benzodiazepines for more than 3 months had a 51% higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Seniors taking these drugs often describe feeling disconnected from loved ones, living in a fog, and losing their personality. The scariest part? The memory loss can persist even after stopping the medication if it's been used too long. If you are taking benzodiazepines, never stop suddenly. That can be dangerous. Work with your doctor to safely taper and explore non-drug alternatives for sleep and anxiety. This isn't just about preventing memory loss. It's about keeping the moments that make life worth living, remembering your grandchildren's names, sharing stories at family dinners, and feeling confident behind the wheel. Too many seniors lose their independence, not because their bodies fail, but because their minds start to slip, often from medications they didn't even need in the first place. If you do nothing, that slow fog may thicken until it feels like life is slipping through your fingers. Every month you wait makes it harder to get those memories back. But if you act now, you can stay mentally sharp, protect your independence, and enjoy more years of laughter, connection, and purpose with the people you love most. In the next section, I'll share real success stories of seniors who reversed their medication-induced memory loss, so you can see exactly what's possible for you, too. Margaret, 73, from Phoenix, Arizona, had been taking 4 common medications for years for sleep, bladder control, reflux, and mild depression. Her family assumed she had early Alzheimer's when she started forgetting her grandchildren's names and missing appointments. But when her doctor reviewed her prescriptions, he discovered that all 4 were blocking the brain chemical acetylcholine. Within 6 months of carefully adjusting her medications, Margaret's memories started coming back. She remembered birthdays, followed conversations with ease, and felt like herself again. James, 69, a retired teacher, was on a popular acid reflux medication and started experiencing severe brain fog. He switched to a safer alternative under his doctor's guidance, added B12 supplementation, and within 90 days reported feeling clear-headed for the first time in years. His wife said it was like getting her husband back. Lillian, 80, reduced her long-term use of nighttime PM pain relievers after learning about their dementia risk. With her doctor's help, she transitioned to non-anticholinergic options. 3 months later, her family noticed she was sharper, more engaged in conversations, and even started reading novels again. These aren't isolated stories. They're proof that what looks like permanent decline can often be reversed when you take control of your medication plan. Next, let's break down the 9 most common medications linked to memory loss so you can spot them in your own cabinet and talk to your doctor right away. This first medication is sitting in almost every bathroom cabinet in America. It's cheap, over-the-counter, and marketed as safe, but it could be quietly erasing your memories. I'm talking about antihistamines like diphenhydramine, commonly sold as Benadryl, and all the PM versions of painkillers and cold medicines like Tylenol PM and Advil PM. These drugs work by blocking histamine receptors to make you drowsy, but they also block acetylcholine, the key neurotransmitter your brain uses to create and store memories. A major study published in the Journal of Geriatric Cognitive Health tracked over 12,000 seniors for 8 years and found that regular users of anticholinergic drugs like Benadryl had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia. That's nearly 1 in 2 long-term users. The scary part is, the damage builds silently. You may just notice a little more brain fog or grogginess in the morning, but over months and years, your brain centers literally shrink. If you rely on PM medicines for sleep, talk to your doctor about safer alternatives like magnesium, melatonin, or sleep hygiene strategies. And if you found one of these in your cabinet today, comment, found it below. You're not alone. And if you thought over-the-counter pills were risky, wait until you hear about the next medication. It's prescribed for acid reflux, but it can literally starve your brain of the nutrients it needs to stay sharp. This next drug class is one of the most common prescriptions for seniors, and yet it could be quietly starving your brain of a critical nutrient. I'm talking about proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, medications like Nexium, Prilose, and Protonix. Millions of older adults take them daily for acid reflux and heartburn, often for years. PPIs work by suppressing stomach acid, which can bring relief, but stomach acid is essential for absorbing vitamin B12, the nutrient your brain needs to stay sharp. Without enough B12, memory problems, confusion, and even mood changes set in. A landmark study published in JAMA Neurology followed over 73,000 seniors and found that regular PPI users had a 44% increased risk of dementia. The brain literally begins to starve without B12. The symptoms can look exactly like early Alzheimer's, brain fog, forgetfulness, and trouble concentrating, leading many seniors to believe they're developing dementia when it's actually drug-induced. If you're taking PPIs, ask your doctor whether you still need them daily, or if you can switch to a lower dose, use them as needed, or supplement with B12 under medical supervision. And now we move to a drug that many women over 60 are taking for bladder control, but it has one of the most aggressive effects on memory of anything on this list. This next drug is prescribed to millions of women and men over 60, but it's one of the most aggressive memory-blocking medications on the market. I'm talking about bladder control medications like oxybutynin, sold under names like Ditropan, as well as tolterodine and solifenacine. These drugs work by blocking acetylcholine to calm bladder muscles. The problem is they cross into your brain and block acetylcholine there too, the very chemical you need to stay mentally sharp. A major study published in the British Medical Journal followed seniors over 65 taking strong anticholinergics like oxybutynin for more than 1 year and found a 49% higher risk of developing dementia. That's nearly 1 in 2 long-term users. The mental changes happen so gradually that most people think it's just aging, misplacing keys, losing track of conversations, but it's actually the medication shutting down memory centers. If you're taking a bladder control medication, talk to your doctor about alternatives like timed voiding schedules, pelvic floor exercises, or newer bladder treatments with lower anticholinergic effects. And now let's look at a class of drugs that's supposed to protect your heart, but research shows they may be quietly impairing your brain function. This next category might surprise you because it's one of the most commonly prescribed drugs for seniors worldwide, and it's supposed to protect your heart. I'm talking about statins like Lipitor, Crestor, and Zocor. They lower cholesterol effectively, but your brain is almost 60% fat, and cholesterol is critical for building and repairing brain cells. Statins don't just lower bad cholesterol, they can also lower the cholesterol your brain needs to form new connections and maintain memory. A large study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience followed seniors over 70 taking statins for more than 3 years and found a 26% higher risk of mild cognitive impairment compared to non-users. This is significant enough that the FDA now requires memory loss warnings on statin labels. Patients often report moments of amnesia, forgetting names, losing track of conversations, or even forgetting familiar driving routes, yet many never connect these symptoms to their cholesterol medication. Do not stop statins suddenly, as they protect against heart attacks, but talk to your doctor about whether the dose can be lowered, switch to a brain-friendlier option, or combined with lifestyle changes like diet and exercise to keep your cholesterol balanced naturally. And if you thought statins were concerning, the next drug class is even more alarming because it literally sedates your brain, leaving you foggy, disconnected, and at dramatically higher risk of dementia.
This next drug class might be the most chilling of all because it doesn't just cause memory loss, it literally sedates your brain and rewires how it works. I'm talking about benzodiazepines, medications like Xanax, Ativan, and Valium. These drugs work by calming your central nervous system, but they do so by turning down the activity in your brain. Over time, this constant chemical sedation reduces your brain's ability to form and store new memories. A large study published in the British Medical Journal followed over 8,000 seniors for 6 years and found that long-term benzodiazepine users had a 51% higher risk of Alzheimer's disease, even when they only used them for 3 months or more. Many seniors describe feeling like they're living life through a fog, emotionally disconnected, forgetful, and unable to focus. Many families mistake these effects for normal aging, but they may actually be a drug side effect. If you're taking benzodiazepines, never stop suddenly. Withdrawal can be dangerous. Talk to your doctor about safe tapering plans and explore non-drug approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, breathing techniques, or natural sleep supports. And now we move to another class of drugs that may be even more common and even more silently destructive because it's given to millions for depression and nerve pain. This next drug might be hiding in plain
sight. Prescribed for depression, nerve pain, or even sleep, but it is one of the most powerful memory blockers still in use today. I'm talking about tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline and nortriptyline. These medications have been around for decades, and while they can help with pain and mood, they also have strong anticholinergic effects. Tricyclics block acetylcholine in the brain, the very chemical you need to form new memories, stay alert, and concentrate. The longer you take them, the more cumulative the damage becomes. A massive 10-year study published in JAMA Internal Medicine followed over 3,400 seniors and found that those taking high cumulative doses of anticholinergic drugs, like amitriptyline, had a 54% greater chance of developing dementia. The damage happens slowly and silently. You might notice mild forgetfulness at first, misplacing keys, losing track of conversations, but by the time memory problems are obvious, significant harm may have already been done. If you take a tricyclic antidepressant, talk to your doctor about safer alternatives, such as SNRIs, SSRIs with lower anticholinergic activity, or non-drug treatments for nerve pain and insomnia. And now we come to a medication that many seniors think is the safest kind of antidepressant. But one of them is secretly draining memory faster than almost anything on this list. This next medication might shock you because it belongs to a family of drugs that are considered the safe antidepressants. But one of them is anything but safe for your brain after 60. I'm talking about paroxetine, sold under the name Paxil. It's an SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and while most SSRIs have little to no effect on memory, paroxetine is different. Unlike other antidepressants in its class, paroxetine has strong anticholinergic effects. That means it blocks the very brain chemical, acetylcholine, that you need to form memories and stay mentally sharp. A comprehensive review published in Frontiers in Psychiatry found that seniors taking paroxetine had measurable declines in short-term memory, attention span, and verbal recall within just 12 months, a 30% higher rate of cognitive impairment compared to those taking other antidepressants. Many seniors and even their doctors mistake this medication's side effects for the early stages of dementia. They miss the connection until memory loss becomes severe. If you're taking paroxetine, talk to your doctor about switching to a safer SSRI, like sertraline or Zoloft, which don't have the same memory-blocking effects. And now let's look at one of the most concerning categories of all: medications originally meant for severe psychiatric illness that are now being handed to seniors for sleep or behavior issues with devastating effects on memory. This next category may be the most disturbing of all, because many seniors don't even realize they're taking psychiatric drugs. I'm talking about antipsychotic medications like quetiapine, risperidone, and olanzapine. These were originally developed for severe mental illnesses like schizophrenia, but today they're often prescribed to seniors for sleep, agitation, or behavior issues, even when safer options exist. These drugs work by powerfully suppressing dopamine, a brain chemical that is crucial for memory, motivation, and mental sharpness. When dopamine levels crash, your brain becomes sluggish, your thinking slows, and your personality can appear flat. A large study published in The Lancet Healthy Longevity followed over 25,000 older adults and found that those given antipsychotics for behavior symptoms were 71% more likely to experience accelerated cognitive decline within just 12 months. This is why many families describe their loved one as suddenly becoming a zombie, withdrawn, emotionless, and disconnected. It's not just the illness, it's often the medication flattening the brain's ability to function. If you or a loved one is taking an antipsychotic, ask your doctor whether it's absolutely necessary, and if so, whether the lowest possible dose is being used. There are often behavioral strategies or gentler alternatives that can be tried first. And now we come to the final and most dangerous scenario. What happens when seniors are prescribed several of these brain-damaging drugs at once? This is where dementia risk doesn't just rise, it doubles. This last medication isn't a single pill. It's the dangerous combination of multiple brain-harming drugs taken together, often prescribed by different doctors who never compare notes. This is called anticholinergic burden, and it's one of the biggest hidden drivers of dementia in seniors. Imagine taking a sleep aid, a bladder pill, and a pain medication, all of which block acetylcholine. Each one alone may only fog your memory slightly, but together they create a perfect storm. A massive 10-year analysis published in Age and Aging tracked over 280,000 seniors for 10 years. Those with the highest anticholinergic burden had a 120% increased risk of developing dementia, more than double the risk compared to those with little or no exposure. The tragedy is that most seniors never realize this is happening. They chalk up the brain fog, the confusion, and the loss of independence to just getting old, when in reality it's drug-induced and often completely preventable. Schedule a full medication review with your doctor or pharmacist. Bring every pill you take, prescription, over-the-counter, and supplements, and ask whether each one is truly necessary and whether safer alternatives exist. In the next module, I'll show you exactly how to work with your doctor to reduce this medication load safely and share the incredible hope of seniors who reversed memory loss once their medication burden was lowered. We've just exposed 9 common medications that may be shrinking your brain and quietly stealing your memories. But here's the good news. Medication-induced dementia is often reversible if you act quickly. Here's what to do starting today. 1. Make a master list. Write down every prescription, over-the-counter pill, and supplement you take. 2. Schedule a medication review. Bring that list to your primary care doctor or pharmacist and ask specifically about cognitive side effects. 3. Ask for safer alternatives. For every brain-risky medication, ask if there is a safer drug or non-drug approach for nerve pain or insomnia. 4. Never stop suddenly. Work with your doctor to safely taper off memory-harming drugs. Stopping abruptly can be dangerous. 5.
Support brain repair. Add brain protective habits like exercise, omega-3 rich foods, hydration, and 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Every day you delay, your memory risks getting worse. But every step you take toward reducing your medication burden moves you closer to mental clarity, independence, and the ability to stay yourself, fully present with the people you love. If this video opened your eyes, take action now. Comment below with the number of medications you take daily. I personally read every comment and often reply with suggestions. Share this video with a senior friend or family member who needs this information, and click subscribe so you don't miss next week's video, where I'll reveal the 3 natural compounds scientifically shown to repair brain damage caused by medications. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Protect it, fight for it, and keep it sharp for the years to come. Your best days can still be ahead.